Waking up earlier doesn't fix your time problem. It just moves your chaos to an earlier hour, usually with less sleep, so you're tired and you're grumpy. You don't need a better app. You don't need a 4 a.m. wake up call. You don't need a 3-hour morning routine that involves a cold plunge, gratitude journaling, 17 supplements laid out, and a bunch of different green drinks. You just need a few small decisions that actually stick. That's it. That's what this whole video is. Here are 8 of them. Number 1, lock in tomorrow tonight. Most people wake up and they'll figure out their day while they're living in it. That's too late. They start trying to figure out, what should I do today? What should I get done? That's too late. Before you shut down tonight, write down the one thing that has to get done tomorrow, and then another 1 or 2 or 3 things that will support that or are high impact. Everything else is just noise. That's your day. Everything else, if you have time for it, you can fill that in. Don't let tomorrow be a surprise party for you. I call this the top hits method. What this stands for is the one priority. What is the one thing that needs to get your time and attention tomorrow? Hit is, what is your high impact task or tasks? Sure, you can make a to-do list and you can bullet journal and you can use a bunch of different apps, but we need to simplify this and get things down to what will move the needle. Top is the one non-negotiable. Hits are the things that matter when and if, and they have to get done. Nothing else needs to make that list. That can be on a separate list. Here's what my list looks like. It's a little index card. This highlight part, because I do write everything down, the highlighted part here is the one priority. Everything else that is on the top part are high impact tasks. Down here are just to-dos. Nothing else makes this list. Your brain doesn't need to try to solve problems at 6 a.m. That's unfair to it. You need to give it a head start. Plan that out the night before. Clarity will compound for you. Number 2, build a night routine. So this goes along with locking in tonight. Everyone's selling you a morning routine. You wake up at 4 a.m., cold plunge, journal, meditate, go for a 5K run. Here's what they don't tell you is your morning was already decided the night before. If your night ends with you doom scrolling, Netflix on autoplay, that's not recovery, that's not rest. That's just you numbing out. That's you distracting yourself. That's you making tomorrow morning self worry about that instead of getting prepared mentally, emotionally, and physically. You're avoiding the transition from doing to resting, and your brain then pays for it all night long. You're not even going to get a good night's sleep because your brain is trying to figure it out without you assisting it. A real night routine is anything that closes all the mental browsers, all those tabs in your mind, reading something that has nothing to do with work, going for a walk, staring at the stars, having a fire, prayer, stretching. The goal isn't perfection here. It's a transition. End the day with intention. And then you'll wake up already moving, ready to go. Keep doing what you're doing, and then you'll just wake up in a fog. You passed out from exhaustion, which is exactly where you'll stay in this kind of loop that doesn't help you get anything done. Number 3 is then, in order to have that good routine so we can lock in tomorrow tonight, is we want to pick a shutdown time and then don't cheat. If your day has no end, your brain never fully turns off. And a brain that never turns off is not more productive, it's just more tired. So pick a time. Let's say it's 6 p.m. when it hits and you stop. Not, let me finish this up. You stop, you write down exactly where you are leaving off so that tomorrow doesn't, or you transfer that over onto your top hits. So then tomorrow doesn't have to feel like you have to figure it out all over again. Hemingway is famous for stopping mid-sentence so that he was excited to come back to it tomorrow, but he had a specific committed to shutdown time. I was just talking to my wife about this weekend at a softball tournament. She was commenting on how some of the parents had taken off work and were excited to be there. She admitted to be thinking about work and all the things that she needs to get done. And I just brought up, like, the difference is, since we're self-employed, we're thinking about all the things that we need to get done. They're not at their job, so they're excited about it. They left their job at their job, and now they're present with their family, with their girls for the softball game, with their friends, and we're distracted thinking about these things. We need to be able to turn things off like an employee, leave the job, leave the tasks at the task. And here's the thing that nobody wants to hear. If you need late nights to catch up, your day isn't structured right. Discipline could be about grinding and working harder, but what if for you, discipline is not about grinding long? What if discipline is about stopping at the right time while you still have a little bit of gas in the tank? Maybe discipline and restraint needs to be reframed for you. Number 4, kill the notifications. This could be at work, or this could be when you're not at work. Every ping is a small transfer of control, that someone else's priority overrides yours. Someone else's priority just became yours. Did you agree to that? Are you willing to accept that? Maybe I don't agree to all these notifications. That's why I hate downloading new apps onto my phone. Every website I go to wants me to download an app so that they can start distracting me with different stuff. This just happened. Here's this thing that's going on. Here's a promotion for you. Here's what you need to know. So turn off everything except maybe your calls and your messages. Mute the Slack. It's a distraction dressed up as a communication tool for your work. But focus isn't stolen in big, obvious chunks. It's taken from you in these little tiny slices throughout the day. A minute here, a minute there. Yeah, I remember a time when we were trained in leadership and management about avoiding the, hey, you got a minute, because those got a minutes add up to hours, and hours add up to almost days in your week, if not the month. But now we've set up our entire tech stack and our communication tools to give people, we're giving it to them. Hey, you got a minute, you got a minute, you got a minute. So it's no wonder that we feel like we're busier than ever, working more hours than ever, and not getting anything done. And you don't even notice until the day is over and you have no idea where it went. But you can take control of that back. It takes about 4 minutes to go into your phone and change the notification settings. Most people are not going to bother to do this. You could get back hours in a day, definitely in a week, if you just take 4 minutes to go shut off those notifications and block them out instead on when you'll check those platforms. Number 5, eliminate, automate, then delegate, in that order. Almost everybody does this backwards. They hire someone before they figure out what actually needs to get done, or if those tasks, projects, and then that role should even exist. So then all the tasks, all those projects still need to get done. And now you are there spending your time managing the person that you just hired to do the thing that shouldn't have been done at all. You're wasting their time and you're wasting your money because you're doing this backwards. So before you even hand anything off, ask these 3 questions. Does this need to exist? Can a tool handle it? Then, and only then, who can do it. And here's the thing most people skip entirely. Spend 1 week actually writing down everything you do, all of it. Then go through the list, cross off what shouldn't exist, circle what a tool could handle, and then what's left, that's what you actually need help with. Most people never do this audit. They just keep adding and adding and adding, and then wondering why they feel buried under projects and tasks and things to do. And then when you do decide to delegate, you don't need an assistant. You need assistance. There's a huge difference. Assistance means getting help with the task or the project. You don't need to hire someone full-time to get assistance. You don't need to worry about building a team or building culture or suddenly having an HR issue on your hands. Assistance is about leverage. And that could be a well-written SOP, a checklist, scheduling an hour with a contractor on Upwork or a VA website like that. Even a tool that handles 80% of the job so that you can finish the last 20. You don't need an org chart for assistance. You need to identify what needs to be done instead of leaving it up to an assistant to decide. You need to decide how it's going to get done instead of leaving it up to an assistant to decide how it gets done. So it does take a little bit of upfront, but you're going to get more out of just focusing on assistance. Number 6, buy back personal time and assistance. We are going to get assistance. We need to look at where maybe we could get assistance the easiest first. So if you feel overwhelmed outsourcing things, you don't even need to worry about outsourcing stuff in your business first. You could start with your life. You don't need a VA if you're still spending Saturday mornings at the grocery store or doing oil changes yourself or mowing the lawn. Those are hours that you could get back, that you could be using to think. I don't know. It's difficult for me to find time to think. I think that's one of the biggest challenges that self-employed business owners have. They're in reaction mode constantly, not enough time thinking, what's next? What am I doing? Is this even a good idea? Getting time back to think, to rest, to actually be present with your family instead of just physically nearby. Hire the lawn care, the landscaper, use a grocery delivery service. Almost every grocery store has one, or you can find a service that will go to the grocery store that you want. Get a house cleaner, depending on your house, every week, every other week. Not because you're rich, but because you're focused. And the reason this works better than outsourcing inside the business first is this is really simple. Personal tasks like this don't require, I don't want to say absolutes, but they require way less, I'll say. They require way less training than bringing someone into your business on the way that you do things in your business. Personal tasks, the person at the grocery store knows how to pull things off a shelf and put them in a cart. The person mowing your lawn already knows how to mow a lawn. You don't have to explain your system or your setup or a workflow. It's the easiest leverage that you'll ever buy. And most business owners skip over it because it feels like a luxury to them. But it's not. It's a strategy. You get paid to move the business forward, not to push a cart around Costco. Number 7, guard your work bout, or you could call this your deep work block. I call this a work bout. 90 minutes. Let me see. Let's talk about it here. 90 minutes, no meetings, no notifications, no multitasking, just the one thing that moves your business forward. That one priority, give yourself at least 90 minutes every day to work on this. I look at this like the 80-20 rule. Don't forget about the 80-20 rule. It's so easy to forget things, to get focused on tech and new trends and ideas, but there's some old principles that we should never forget and try to run things through that filter of principles as much as possible. So the 80-20 rule, right? So one of the things I look at is an 8-hour workday, and you're probably working more than that, right? 8 hours, if we broke that into 20%, that's giving us 96 minutes is our 20%. 96 minutes of our day, of our workday, is the top 20%. And that needs to be blocked out, protected. And this is what I call a work bout. Just like you go to the gym and you work out, for work, we need to have a work bout. And that 96 minutes allows us to work on the biggest thing that actually moves the business forward. Most people think that they don't have 90 minutes, but they do. They're just spending it on email, on Slack, on reacting to whatever showed up that morning that feels urgent. The work bout, the deep work, just feels important. And urgent always wins in urgent versus important until you decide it won't. One work bout a day, protected like a new client appointment, like a sales opportunity. That's where the real progress lives. Everything else is mostly maintenance in your business. You don't need to work more hours. You need to protect the hours that you do have. And number 8, move when you are stuck. When you are foggy, when you're stalled, when the wheels are spinning on the same problem, stop pushing. The answer is not more. The answer is not more screen time, more scrolling. Get up, go outside. That's probably the best thing, not to just get up, but go outside. Go for a walk for 10 minutes. Switch rooms. Do something physical. If you're stuck in one environment, one location, maybe go to the coffee shop and chill out there. Maybe go down to a park, river, lake, whatever is a different environment that allows you to think in a different way. Here's what's actually happening when you feel stuck. You're trying to solve a new problem with a processor. If you think about your brain like a computer with a processor that is already fried out, it's smoking, the fan is turned on. A 5-hour energy drink or a Monster or whatever the new energy drink is, a coffee, caffeine isn't going to fix that. Willpower doesn't fix that. Doubling down, grinding harder doesn't fix that. Movement could, though, because movement isn't, if you think about it as I'm giving up, this goes back to discipline and restraint. You have to reframe this. Movement isn't a break. Think of it like it's a circuit breaker that you're using strategically. You fried your circuits, it turned off. That's being stuck now is a signal. That's all it is. It's not a life sentence where you're like, if I don't figure this out now, I never will. So just change your state to change your output. None of these are going to require a new app. None of them require you to become a different person or rearrange your whole life. They just require a decision to do it. So pick one, try it this week. That's it.